Think all bread is off limits if you have diabetes? Think again. Most breads can spike your blood sugar faster than you can say toast. But there are diabetic-friendly options that not only taste great, they actually help stabilize your blood sugar. In this video, I'll reveal the top 5 breads every diabetic should know about, including one that might already be in your kitchen. But used the wrong way could do more harm than good. And make sure to watch till the end, because bread number 5 is a total game changer that most people completely overlook. So Aisha, I want you to start first.
So that's what this deep dive is all about today. We're going to unpack those 5 types.
Yeah, figure out why they might be better options.
Right. The goal is really to understand how certain breads can help keep things more stable, give you that sustained energy, maybe even reduce cravings, sort of cut through all the noise, you know?
Okay, so let's jump in. First up, whole grain bread. Now, bread, it's such a staple for so many of us. Easy, convenient.
Totally.
But the problem, often, is that typical white bread. It's made with refined flour.
And that stuff digests super fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's like, boom, blood sugar spike. Then comes the crash, the low energy, and suddenly you're starving again not long after.
And that whole cycle, it can actually make your body more likely to store fat and just makes managing blood sugar harder in the long run.
So whole grain is presented as a better way to go.
Mm-hmm.
What's the actual difference there, mechanically?
Well, think about the grain itself. A whole grain has all its parts. The bran, the germ, the endosperm, that's where you get the fiber, protein, nutrients.
Okay.
Refined grains, they've had the bran and germ stripped away, basically the parts that slow things down.
Ah, gotcha. So with whole grain bread, because all that fiber and protein is still there.
Your body digests it much more slowly.
Right. So instead of that quick up and down, you get a steadier release of glucose.
Exactly. Which means more stable energy, hopefully fewer cravings kicking in mid-morning. You avoid that, 2 p.m. slump feeling.
And whole grain isn't just whole wheat, is it? The video mentioned others.
No, definitely not. There's spelt, rye, millet, even quinoa, which, fun fact from the video, is technically a seed.
Huh, interesting.
But they all bring that valuable fiber and protein to the table. And, looking bigger picture, there's solid research linking higher whole grain intake with a lower risk of type 2 diabetes and heart disease.
And a big part of that is the fiber slowing down digestion, preventing those glucose surges.
Precisely.
Okay, but here's the catch, and the video really stressed this. The labels can be confusing.
Oh, definitely. Marketing can be tricky. Made with whole grains sounds good.
But it might still be mostly refined flour with just a sprinkle of whole grain.
Exactly. So you really have to flip it over and read that ingredient list.
What are you looking for?
The very first ingredient should be a whole grain, like whole wheat flour, whole rye flour, etc.
Okay.
And you want to watch out for things like enriched flour, high up on the list, or high fructose corn syrup, or just a massive list of chemical-sounding names.
It's like the video's analogy. Think about making bread at home. Simple ingredients, right?
Yeah.
Flour, water, yeast, salt.
Yeah.
If the store-bought one reads like a chemistry set, maybe not the best choice.
Good rule of thumb. And of course, even with a good whole grain bread, portion sizes still count.
Oh, for sure. Healthier doesn't mean unlimited.
Right. And a good tip they shared was pairing it with healthy fats or protein.
Like avocado or eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That can slow digestion down even further, help stabilize blood sugar even more.
Makes sense. Okay, so whole grain is a decent starting point.
Hmm.
But the video hinted at options that might be even better, maybe lower carb. What's number 2?
Number 2 is sprouted bread. This one's really interesting and potentially, as the video put it, a game changer for avoiding those spikes.
Sprouted bread. Okay, how is that different?
Well, it's all in the preparation before baking. Instead of grinding dry grains into flour, they take whole grains or sometimes legumes or seeds and soak them until they actually start to sprout just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Like they're starting to grow.
Kind of. And that initial sprouting process actually changes the grain. It starts breaking down some of the starches. But crucially, it keeps the fiber and protein intact. And we know those are key for slowing sugar absorption.
So less starch impact, but you still get the fiber and protein benefits for stability.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating is the glycemic index. Sprouted grains tend to have a lower GI than both white and regular whole grain bread.
Lower than whole grain, too. That's significant.
Yeah, meaning a slower, smaller rise in blood sugar after eating. The video even mentioned some research suggesting sprouted grains might improve your glycemic response more than regular whole grains.
Wow. Okay. And are there other benefits besides blood sugar?
Yes, apparently sprouting can also sort of unlock more nutrients in the grain, things like B vitamins, which are important for metabolism and energy.
So maybe more energy, less crash.
Potentially, yeah.
Well,
Plus, because they often use a mix of grains and legumes like wheat, barley, lentils, soy sprouted bread can sometimes be a complete protein source.
the complete protein from bread. That's pretty cool.
It is. Adds to satiety and stability. But, just like before,
Let me guess. Read the label.
you got it. You still need to check. First ingredient, whole sprouted grains. Avoid the refined flours, the added sugars, the artificial stuff.
It does make you wonder why it's not more popular if it has these benefits. Habit, maybe?
Probably a big part of it. We stick to what we know. But the video really makes a case that switching could lead to noticeable improvements: blood sugar, digestion, nutrients, energy levels.
Definitely something to look into.
Okay.
Third type. And this one, sourdough. This might surprise some people, right? Because it's often white flour.
It is often a white flour, and that's a fair point. But the magic of sourdough, according to the video, is in its unique fermentation.
Right. It uses wild yeast and specific bacteria, not the fast-acting commercial yeast.
Exactly. And this slow fermentation process does something interesting. The microbes actually start breaking down the carbohydrates in the flour before you even eat it.
Pre-digestion, kind of.
In a way, yeah. It changes the structure, making those carbs easier to digest and lessening their impact on your blood sugar.
So even with white flour, the process itself helps.
Studies suggest yes. Sourdough generally has a lower glycemic index than conventional white bread, and even many whole wheat breads. It leads to that slower, more controlled glucose release.
Okay, interesting. But then the video mentioned something even better. Sprouted grain sourdough.
Now you're talking. That combines the benefits of the slow fermentation with the fiber and protein from sprouted grains.
Best of both worlds.
Pretty much. Even better blood sugar control, easier digestion. The video pointed out this combo often has an even lower glycemic response than regular sourdough.
Plus, isn't there a gut health angle with sourdough? Probiotics?
Yes, the natural fermentation process fosters beneficial bacteria, which is great for your gut microbiome, and we know gut health is linked to digestion, immunity, even mood.
So lots of potential benefits.
So good.
But there's always a but, isn't there?
There often is. The video cautioned that not all sourdough is the real deal. A lot of store-bought stuff might use commercial yeast for speed, or add sugars, preservatives, refined flour.
Undoing all the good stuff.
Right. So again, check that label, look for simple ingredients: flour, water, salt, and a natural starter culture.
And ideally, made with whole or sprouted grains for that extra boost.
Exactly. So real sourdough, especially the sprouted kind, looks like a solid option for bread lovers watching their sugar.
Okay, good to know. Let's move to number 4, organic bread. Now, organic sounds healthy, right? People often assume it's automatically better for blood sugar.
That's a common assumption, but the video clarified this really well. Organic tells you how the ingredients were grown.
No synthetic pesticides, fertilizers, GMOs.
Right. Which is great for reducing chemical exposure, supporting sustainable farming, all good things, but it doesn't directly say anything about how that bread affects your blood sugar.
So you could have organic white bread.
Exactly. Made with organic refined white flour. And it's likely going to spike your blood sugar pretty much the same way regular white bread does.
So the organic label alone isn't the key for blood sugar management.
Not necessarily, no. It can be a bit misleading if that's your main focus. But the video pointed out, organic bread can be a fantastic choice if it's also whole grain or sourdough or sprouted.
So it's about the combination.
Precisely. Organic sprouted grain bread, organic whole grain sourdough, those combine the benefits of organic farming with the blood sugar-friendly aspects we've already talked about.
Okay, but you still need to be careful with labels, even if it says organic.
Absolutely. That phrase, made with organic whole grains, can pop up again.
Still might have refined flour or added sugars lurking in there.
It could, yes. So the drill is the same. Read the full ingredient list. Look for short, simple, whole ingredients. Avoid refined flour, artificial stuff, hidden sugars like high fructose corn syrup.
So organic is one piece of the puzzle, maybe a good piece for other reasons. But for blood sugar, you've got to look at the type of flour and the other ingredients first and foremost.
That's the key message. Don't let organic alone make the decision if blood sugar is your priority.
Got it. Okay, final bread type number 5. And the video called this potentially game-changing and lower carb, gluten-free bread.
Right. Gluten-free is huge now, and like organic, there's often this vibe that it's just healthier across the board.
But the video pumped the brakes on that idea a bit, didn't it?
It did. Because the problem is, many common gluten-free breads swap out wheat flour for things like refined white rice flour, potato starch, tapioca starch.
And those are starchy, refined.
Very much so. They break down into sugar very quickly, often lacking the fiber and protein needed to slow things down.
So you could end up with a blood sugar spike from gluten-free bread, similar to white bread.
It's definitely possible, yeah. But importantly, the video stressed that not all gluten-free bread is like this. The type of flour is critical.
Okay, so what are the better gluten-free flour options?
Things that are more nutrient-dense and fiber-rich. The video mentioned almond flour, coconut flour, flaxseed meal.
Right, those sound very different from rice starch.
They are, and it gave examples of good GF breads made with things like chickpea flour, or buckwheat, or quinoa flour. These naturally have a lower glycemic impact and offer more nutrients.
So using those alternative flours makes a big difference.
A huge difference. But surprise, surprise.
Check the label.
Always. Some gluten-free brands still add sugars or weird fillers or preservatives to improve the texture or shelf life, which can kind of cancel out the benefits.
So any specific guidelines for choosing a better gluten-free loaf?
The video suggested aiming for at least, say, 3 or 4 grams of fiber per slice. And keep an eye out for minimal added sugar. Generally, fewer ingredients is often a better sign.
Right. It's a good reminder, isn't it? Managing blood sugar isn't about perfection. It's about making smarter choices most of the time.
Exactly. It's about having the knowledge to navigate those choices, whether it's in the bread aisle or elsewhere. Mistakes happen, but now you have more info.
Absolutely. So just to pull it all together quickly, we looked at 5 potential bread buddies for blood sugar management. There was whole grain,
Sprouted bread.
sourdough, especially that sprouted grain sourdough.
Organic, but only if it's also one of the good types, like whole grain or sprouted.
And then specific gluten-free breads made with those better nutrient-dense flours like almond or chickpea.
And the big theme, really, is that your bread choice can make a real difference to your blood sugar, your energy, your health.
And the superpower here is reading that ingredient list, not just trusting the claims on the front.
That's the most valuable takeaway, I think. Look past the marketing.
It really makes you pause and think, though. If something as basic as bread can have so many variations in how it affects us based on ingredients and preparation, what other simple, everyday foods might have hidden complexities that are impacting our health in ways we haven't even realized?
That is a great question to chew on. Now that you're armed with this knowledge about bread, what other parts of the grocery store, what other food categories might deserve that same level of scrutiny for better health and well-being?